Garrett Blake was 3 credits away from starving when he made the mistake that would change the Vrelian Empire forever. The Imperial dining hall on Station Zenith was divided into clear hierarchies. The upper levels for nobility, their tables marked with floating holographic crests. The middle levels for merchants and guild members. The lower levels for workers like Garrett, who fixed coolant systems for barely enough to afford 1 meal a day. But today, exhausted from a 16-hour shift and half-blind from welding flash, Garrett stumbled into the wrong section. He collapsed into a chair at what he thought was an empty table, pulled out his meager ration bar, and only then noticed he was not alone. She sat across from him in a hovering medical chair, her body motionless except for the slight rise and fall of her breathing. She was Vrelian, tall and elegant even in stillness, with the characteristic silver skin and luminous eyes of her species. She wore robes that marked her as high nobility, and a neural crown rested on her head, pulsing with soft light. Garrett's exhausted brain registered 2 things simultaneously. First, that he had definitely sat at the wrong table. Second, that she was staring at him with an intensity that suggested she was very aware of his mistake. "Hell," he muttered. Then, remembering his manners, "Sorry, my apologies. I will move." He started to stand, but something stopped him. Her eyes. They were tracking him with desperate focus, and he realized she was trying to communicate something. He sat back down slowly. "Are you okay?" The neural crown pulsed frantically. Our fingers twitched, but nothing more. "Can you speak?" Garrett asked gently. No response except those eyes, bright with frustration and something else. Loneliness, maybe. Garrett had worked with enough damaged systems to recognize when something was not functioning properly. Is your neural crown supposed to help you communicate? A single tear rolled down her silver cheek. But it is not working, Garrett concluded. He leaned closer, examining the crown without touching. Years of fixing broken machinery had taught him to see patterns others missed. The pulse frequency is irregular, like a misaligned servo. "May I?" She blinked once. Deliberately, Garrett interpreted that as yes. He carefully examined the crown, noticing the subtle wrongness in its configuration. Who calibrated this thing? The connection nodes are offset by at least 3 degrees. No wonder you cannot interface properly. He pulled out his multi-tool, a mechanic never went anywhere without one, and made minute adjustments to the crown's physical anchoring points. It was delicate work, the kind that required steady hands despite his exhaustion. "This is going to feel weird for a second," he warned, then recalibrated the neural interface. The crown flared bright blue. "I can hear you," came a voice, not from her lips, but projected directly into the air around them. "I can finally hear you." Garrett nearly fell out of his chair. "You can talk. Okay now." The crown has been miscalibrated for 2 years. 2 years of silence. 2 years of being trapped in my own body while doctors and technicians assured my father they had done everything correctly. "Your father?" Garrett asked, though dread was already building. "Emperor Vector of the Vrelian sovereignty," she replied. "And I am Princess Lyshara." "You just performed medical intervention on Imperial royalty without authorization. That is technically treason, punishable by execution." Garrett stared at her, "But I fixed it." "Yes," Lyshara said, and her projected voice carried something that might have been laughter. "You fixed in 3 minutes what the Empire's best neural technicians could not fix in 2 years. They probably overthought it," Garrett said. "Sometimes the simplest solution is the right one. It was just a mechanical alignment issue." "Just a mechanical alignment issue," Lyshara repeated. "Do you understand what you have given me? I have been conscious, aware, trapped in silence while everyone talked around me, about me, as if I did not exist. I could not scream, could not cry out, could not tell my father I was still here." Her hovering chair moved closer. "What is your name?" "Blake. Coolant Systems Mechanic. Level 7 clearance. Currently about to be arrested for accidental treason, apparently." Not if I have anything to say about it, Lyshara declared. Guards. 6 Imperial guards materialized from positions Garrett had not even noticed. He was surrounded in seconds. "Oh, this is bad," he muttered. "Summon my father immediately," Lyshara commanded, "and do not harm this human. Anyone who touches him answers to me personally." The guards looked confused, but obeyed. Within minutes, Emperor Vector himself arrived, his presence causing everyone in the dining hall to drop to their knees. Everyone except Garrett, who was too terrified to remember protocol. "Lyshara," the Emperor said, his voice breaking. "Is that you? Your voice?" "Father," Lyshara replied, her projected voice thick with emotion. "This human mechanic fixed my neural crown. I can speak again. I can communicate. I am not lost." Vector turned to Garrett with an expression that combined gratitude and disbelief. "You restored my daughter's voice." "I just realigned some connection nodes," Garrett said weakly. "To a simple mechanical adjustment." "Simple," Vector repeated. "I have employed the finest neural specialists in the Empire. I have paid fortunes for consultations. And a human mechanic with a multi-tool succeeds where they all failed. Sometimes you need someone who fixes broken things instead of someone who studies things that are not broken yet," Garrett offered. Vector studied him for a long moment. "You sat at the wrong table." "Yes, Your Majesty. I was tired and made a mistake." "No," Lyshara interjected. "He sat at exactly the right table. For 2 years, I have been surrounded by experts who saw a damaged princess. He saw a broken machine he could fix. That perspective saved me." The Emperor knelt beside his daughter's chair, taking her hand. "What do you want, human? Name your reward." "Wealth." "Status." "A position in the Imperial court." Garrett thought about it. About his tiny quarters and his exhaustion and his constant hunger. Then he looked at Lyshara, who was crying again, but this time with joy. "I want to make sure her crown stays calibrated," he said. "And maybe teach your technicians how to look at problems like a mechanic instead of like a specialist. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right one." Vector stood, and his voice carried across the hall. "Garrett Blake of Earth is hereby appointed Imperial Maintenance Consultant, with full access to all royal medical technology and a salary befitting someone who returned my daughter to me. Any who challenge this appointment challenge me personally." Lyshara's chair moved closer to Garrett. "Thank you. You gave me my voice. You gave me my life back." "I just tightened some bolts," Garrett said, uncomfortable with the attention. "No," she replied. "You saw a person who needed help, and you helped without thinking about rewards or consequences. That is what humans do. You fix things. Not just machines, people." And in that moment, the Vrelian Empire learned something that would reshape their entire medical establishment. Sometimes what looks like a complex problem just needs someone willing to try this simple solution. And sometimes the wrong table is exactly where you are supposed to be. What would you have done if you were in Garrett's shoes? Let us know in the comments below. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories.